Kayfabe Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I'm Richie Moon.
And I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue. And as we come to a close of 2023, it's been a lot of great matches, a lot of great events, a lot of great moments. But today, we are here to talk about the top 5 matches of 2023. And there's been a lot of them. So let's not waste any time. Let's
Top
get
five.
straight into
Top
it.
five. Top five. Top five. Top 5 wrestling matches of the year, sucker.
There were so many matches
Yeah.
that my phone died when we was discussing it.
Yeah, we had like easily about 12 matches. We could have 12, 15 off the top of our heads collectively.
Right.
And you know, we
There's
had
a lot of debates.
We had to get a vote on, and we finally decided this year's top 5. We'll of course have a couple of honorable mentions, but let's start them off at number 5. Kayfabe Ave decided that it was the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. So
WrestleMania.
You wanna tell the people why we settled on the 5th match of the year?
Well, I think it's important
versus KO.
I do think it's important to mention that the criteria that we base this off of was obviously match quality. We base this off storyline. We base this off impact of, you know, what that storyline did for that moment, and also how that storyline is still playing out to this day. What happened to the wrestlers since then, how their storylines, and all 4 of these people are still feeling the effects of that day of what happened between going to different brands, championships. Jay Uso won a championship with Cody Rhodes. So,
Usos
you know, a lot of
splitting shortly after this.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So that's the criteria that we based off of. It's not just off of our favorite match, 5-star in the dome. We put all that into consideration.
Well, specifically for this match, not only did it have a lot of storylines going in, and we're talking about over maybe 2 years of story going into this matchup. A lot of animosity between KO and the entire bloodline, which at the time included Sami Zayn, now you know, ex-member teaming up with KO. You know, the month before this, Sami had that big match with Roman Reigns, and you know, a lot of momentum into this. But this is the first time in WWE history that a tag team championship main evented WrestleMania. So
that's how you know Vince is in charge.
Yeah, Vince would have never booked a tag team. He didn't have a lot of faith in the tag team division. That's why we see a lot of big stables back in his reign. You know, break up instantly, groups break up, tag teams put together for absolutely no reason. But those days are done. And this was probably the most storytelling going into a tag team match in years. Probably since the Attitude Era, honestly. But I think it sits at a good place at number 5 on the list. You guys got anything else to say about Usos versus KO and Sami at Mania?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
So moving on to number 4, we have Hangman Page versus Swerve at Full Gear. And this was I don't know, it was like cringy, madness, athletic, gory. People drank blood in this match.
It was exactly what it needed to be. I mean, you pull up in a man's house and cut a promo over his baby boy. I mean, you better bring the smoke. And I really love how they started off. There was no tie up. There was nothing. They got in there and they punched and kicked each other. What the hell else are you supposed to do? I cannot stand a blood feud when they go in there and tie up. It's a blood feud. What are you tying up for?
Right.
Spice.
I think my favorite part leading into this match was actually Swerve's promo, where he was talking about, if you would have put me in the position Hangman Adam Page was, I'd have been the first black AEW champion already. And that honestly felt like the truth. Swerve feels like he's embarking on history with this feud. Kind of cementing himself in that upper card. I definitely see him being probably the one to take it from MJF at this point. A lot of storyline going into this, a lot of storyline coming out. So I think it sits at a good place at number 4. What do you guys think?
Focus, what do you think about this?
I think that, Swerve will eventually be the first black champion, and poor Scorpio Sky, because he'll never touch that title. Like Chris Jericho said.
Yeah, I never catch that title. Yeah, so I think
long-term booking.
Leading into this, Swerve was really on a run. This feud really solidified him. I agree with my two brethren, my bro chose. I think Swerve would definitely be the first black AEW champion, and it's not forced at all. He's just been on momentum, banger after banger. The intro, the look, the moveset,
it's been
everything.
a natural ascension for him, like you said.
Exactly.
It's not forced. Yeah. It's been natural ever since. I'm not too big on his group, God Honest Truth, but him and Prince Nana being put together, the song that he put out, taking over the fans, him being sane. He got the dance that's arguably up there with the top 5 dance moves in wrestling.
You gotta shout out to Prince Nana. Yeah, you gotta shout out Prince Nana. He actually did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and he talked about when Prince Nana came out randomly on a Dynamite and just did that dance. And for some reason, when he did that, it was like, yo, this song slaps. And then ever since then, Swerve just been just up and everything. So yeah, man, shout out to Hangman and Swerve for both cutting good promos, having great matches leading.
And now they're both, Swerve and Nana, they're in the money. They're in the money. Do 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 do.
And with that being said, we got number 3, Judgment Day versus Sammy and KO. The street fight between them for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. So this is where they lost the titles to the Judgment Day. And I think it's kind of obvious. This win solidified the Judgment Day as the top faction this year. With the bloodline kind of crumbling at WrestleMania, starting to crumble from WrestleMania over the past few months. And, obviously they're at a weakened state compared to what they were before. Judgment Day has no one else that's opposing them as far as a united front. In fact, they even attached JD McDonough, so they even grew in their ranks this year. They're
R-Truth.
Honorary. But he wants to kick out JD. That's a whole nother story.
The honorary judge.
With that win, they held the Money in the Bank, the Undisputed Championships, Rhea, of course, the women's champion, Dominic being the North American champion. So they were across literally all brands this year. After picking up those tag team championships, so a definite good spot, and kind of glad that it's crazy that we actually had 2 tag team matches be on the top 5 matches of the year. It's been a long time for tag teams, I think. So shout out to the tag team divisions that are really hitting it hard this year. Any last things to say? Any comments on Judgment Day versus Sammy and KO?
I didn't agree with this. I did not agree with the placement of this. No, there's no knock on obviously KO and and Sammy are on a list earlier. No knock against Judgment Day. I just thought that there were other matches, but like I said, we based on a certain criteria, and you had to debate your spot in, and they got in.
I don't know. That was a great ass match though, and
I'm not taking
everything.
Not taking anything away from it.
That match was all over the arena. It kind of mirrored AEW's matchup, the Stadium Stampede, which is fortunately falls in one of our honorable mentions for matches this year. But they had a change spot, and they did that. They did that. It was a lot of comedy. It was a lot of action. It was all over the place. Again, storylines. This set up Judgment Day for the whole rest of the year, and you really can't debate the impact that Judgment Day has had on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, no faction, not even the Bloodline, was hitting NXT. You know, they were on Raw, on SmackDown, but you know, they got the women's division on lock. It's a lot of factors going in. So, um, yeah, unfortunately, you got voted out on that one, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all right, man. This is how these things go. This is how these things go. I want the people at home know, this is how this goes.
I think the next one, though, I think we all were unanimously agreeing. At number 2, we have Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. And just saying those names alone. Right. Just saying those names alone.
It just spells out slobber knocker.
We know it was hard hitting. We know it was a good match. Had a lot of story going in, a lot of potential. Sheamus at that moment could have solidified his career with another, accolade. It would have made him a Grand Slam champion. So, it was a lot of history involved. Gunther's reign continuing after that, dominant. Drew McIntyre gave him another reason to have the edge that he has now, and the anger that's fueling him right now in his character. So a lot of things came out of this. A lot of build up with the Brawling Brutes, Imperium, the friendship at that time with Drew and Sheamus going into this match. So it was a lot of factors going in. Great hard hitting ass match. He's still rubbing his chest. Look at this. Do you want to talk about the pain you felt watching this match?
Yo, it was well, this was a very unique WrestleMania for me. I was actually in California. I was in a room I wasn't supposed to be. I was in a States room on my cruise ship. When I was working on a cruise line, laid up in the room. If any of you suckers see that, biatch. And I had a vape, and it was full of THC. I was supposed to be smoking. I'm cold blooded. I'm cold as ice, motherfucker. But
cold blooded.
I'm cold blooded. But yeah, this match probably stole the weekend for me. I mean, I still feel it in my chest. Hard hitting. It's everything you wanted. I mean, if you wanted to put this at number 1, I wouldn't argue. It was a great match, and that's exactly why I got the spot that I got.
I think you can say there was 2 losers in the match on paper, but nobody lost. Like everybody looked strong, even in losing or in victory. You got anything to say about it, Focus?
It elevated everybody to show them that they were all main event players.
Yeah. So can we move on to number 1?
Before we get to number one, I think we should all mention one of our honorable mentions. Just one of them. Mention one of your honorable mentions before we get to number 1.
All right. My honorable mention would have to be Finn versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. For the simple fact that match had the storyline going in 7 years built up, and the genius of Triple H's booking that he's finally connecting the dots from things that's happened in the past, making them spring up in this current version of WWE, giving meaning to every match. This is one of those things that make me go back, and when we was making the show in the beginning, like how anti WWE, how anti booking, how anti of their storylines we were, and now fast forward 4 years later, a new reign, and it's all story. We got nothing but good things to say, so that's a great change, and this was one of those things. Not only that, Finn Balor, for a long time, we had no faith in him. Calling him Pin Balor. There was no more demon. There was no more edge to him. He lost that luster. And this was finally like, holy shit, is Finn Balor gonna win? He made me believe. In a long time, Finn Balor made me fucking believe. So definitely have to give that as an honorable mention. What would your honorable mentions be?
Focus, what was your honorable mention?
My honorable mention would probably have to be Zack Sabre versus Daniel Bryanson.
I can say about Junior son.
That was probably one of our like most anticipated matchups we've been waiting for years too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went for that for a while. Yeah, that almost made top 5. That was definitely debated to be in the top 5. My honorable mention. I fought for this very hard. Neither of them agree with me. I don't see why I think they're fucking crazy for not.
It's because you chose the first one, and
I think the first one is better than the second one. But Wrestle Kingdom, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. I think that I like both of them. I think the first one is better, and that's what I want. That's my honorable mention. That's my 6th man off the bench. Per se.
So to be completely transparent, for me, the reason it didn't touch it, a lot of what New Japan's been doing, I would say a few years ago before the pandemic, there was a lot of eyes on the product, but in the current frame of things, New Japan as far as America goes, American television, American audiences, it feels like they're out of touch with New Japan and only being filtered what AEW is providing for New Japan. So I felt AEW Kenny 2 had a lot more story going in, had a lot more riding on it because we actually got to see the week to week buildup of that one. So I felt part 2 was more meaningful than part 1, simply because part 2 had the build that we needed for it.
No, that's true.
But I not to again, none of these matches that are honorable mentions obviously aren't. It's not a knock on it. But
Nah, you just gotta meet the
yeah,
scrutiny. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's the scrutiny of getting on the top 5 of the
We
list.
took
It has to be of all angles. It can't just be a great match.
yeah. So for the people who love Will Ospreay, first of all, we realized let's honorable mention sub chapter right here. We realized that Will Ospreay needs a top 5 matches just on his own within this year.
Fact.
So that's
Yeah.
how good Ospreay is. So shout out to Ospreay in general. But moving on to number 1, this was something that was unanimous between all of us. MJF versus Adam Cole part deuce
Yes.
at All In.
Yes.
Do you want to take this one? Do you want to?
Man, I mean, it's everything that we've talked about. You know, it's the storyline, it's the build. What I really liked about this storyline, when you thought they were going to zig, they zagged and went the left way. They extended it. You know, all the criteria that we talked about. How does this play out to now? We're still seeing the effects of it with MJF and the Ring of Honor Championship. A lot of people think Adam Cole is the devil. Even with Adam Cole being injured, he's still being factored into it. I think I have a new person who I think that was. But it's everything that we said. It was great match quality. It was the main event of All In, 80,000 plus people, the record crowd for AEW for the World Championship, and I also liked 79,000. Right.
That tattoo's not accurate, man.
There were 80,000 tickets sold, only 79,000. And not even to try to make excuses, but this really did happen. The public transportation, the train system in the UK were going through a strike at that time. So a lot of people actually couldn't get there.
That's crazy.
I didn't know this until I was one of the guys on like Cultaholic. They were saying that, and they live out there.
You know whose fault is that? Tony Khan for not giving the union money so they could.
Why didn't he, Tony? Why didn't you shell out that money for that for the shutdown of you?
The shuttles from the airport to pay for extra. Yeah.
Cry me a river. But you know what I'm saying?
So
but for my money.
Where's everybody's personal escort?
So MJF, okay, Pug. So MJF versus Cole going into this match. We already had part 1, which was at the New York show. What do they call those again?
Was part 1
Oh,
at
the Grand Slam? It was at Grand Slam, the New York show.
Damn, time just...
Yeah, this was so in that one they went to a 60-minute draw. Adam Cole's begging him at this point they're not really friends, they're rivals at this point. And Adam Cole's like, please, let's continue this matchup. And MJF is like, no. Match is over. Takes his victory after the 60-minute draw. Great match. Over the time between Grand Slam leading all the way to All In, they built a bond and a camaraderie that honestly took over AEW, took over Ring of Honor, them becoming the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions at the same time as MJF holding the world title, and to this day they are the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and MJF is still your champion. So, getting to this one, we had them actually start the night defending those Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, and everyone's question in their mind is who's going to turn first. We know they're going to turn on each other. We know they're going to turn on each other. This was the storyline thread building this entire matchup. The part one, how it ended, them getting the friendship, they were doing vignettes together. They was doing advertising commercials together. And people could feel the friendship.
Right.
MJF became everyone's favorite scumbag during this storyline. The babyface turn we probably thought we would never see. That to this day, honestly, I'm still waiting for the other shoe to fall and him, ended up working us this whole time. MJF is the devil. I don't know if he's the devil, but I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's like while I'm enjoying his face turn, that's how big it was. So they end up hitting the 60-minute draw again, and this time MJF gives him a second chance and defeats Cole clean, and they still maintain their friendship.
And he could have cheated. He could have cheated. Both of them could have cheated throughout the match, but they decided not to.
They chose otherwise. We even had the Kingdom trying to interfere, and Adam Cole saying no to Roger Strong and the group of guys. So it was a lot. Not only that, MJF held up the whole year with this storyline. Like, outside of the drama and the storylines that might have been cooked up throughout this year, MJF Adam Cole easily was the pillar that kept AEW going through everything that happened to them this year. So, you guys got anything to say about the top match of the year, 2023, MJF Adam Cole?
Nope.
I think we said it all.
Not at all.
I think at this point, we should tell everybody, go back, watch the matches. They were all great. Check out the honorable mentions. This has been Kayfabe AJ, Mr. Richie Moon, and Kayfabe Focus. You got something else to say?
Yeah. While you're finished, and after you're finished watching these matches, watch our YouTube videos after.
Yeah, watch the next one. We got a couple more top fives coming out. You'll catch us at Kayfabe Avenue on every streaming platform, YouTube, anywhere you catch your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Check us out all at Kayfabe Avenue. And Kenny, take us home.